So anyway, I know it's been a minute. I get to more stuff at the end. For the people who just happen to have stumbled across this and are curious about the movies, I'm going to go ahead and get right into that. Because for those that don't know, I did take a what ended up being a pretty good little break. I say I'll get more into that later, but one of the things I've been doing is I have been reintroducing myself to the movie theater. I used to love to go to movies. That was one of my favorite things to do. Been to a few movies. I've been to like 5 movies in the last few weeks. But I just thought I would tell you a little bit about the movies and kind of give my recommendations on them. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. First of all, there's Jurassic World Dominion. If you're a huge fan of the Jurassic Park movies, then you're obviously going to want to see it. This one, like I say, it's called Jurassic World Dominion, or Jurassic World Last Trip to the Well, I think is what I have kind of dubbed it. Again, it's not a bad movie. It's just I don't think they can squeeze another nickel out of this franchise. A lot of action. And again, if you're a fan of the Jurassic movies, there's a lot of callbacks. It's definitely worth seeing. It's still cool to see the dinosaurs, the special effects that they would do with that and bringing them to life. It was pretty cool seeing the newer cast of the Jurassic World movies put together with the Jurassic Park cast. They've got the original cast back with Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern, and they're together with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. They've got a couple of new characters. DeWanda Wise plays a character named Kayla Watts, who's really good. There's also a young actress named Isabella Sermon, who plays Maisie Lockwood. And there are several other characters mixed in. A lot of callbacks to the first Jurassic Park that you want to look for. Downsides, well, first of all, I hate to pick out any one person, but I wonder if Laura Dern really wasn't really that interested in doing the movie. Maybe she just wasn't a big fan of the script. She just really annoyed the crap out of me in this movie. It just seemed like she wasn't that interested in being there. Other than that, it's just, like I say, I think they've just gotten all they can get out of this, and if they did decide, okay, this is where we're going to end it, it's actually a good, they kept everything off. There's no real wide open door to do another one. I think they would be wise to just go ahead and end it here. But again, it's worth a look, but just not one of my favorites. It's out of the 5 movies I've seen so far this year. It is my 5th favorite. Okay, the next one is Beast. Now, I just saw this yesterday, and when I showed up at the movie theater, I didn't have a particular movie that I was in mind to see. I just thought, well, I'll show up and I'll see what's showing, and it was starting in 3 minutes, and so I just said, there you go. And I happened to notice that the star of this movie, and I may butcher this name, Idris Elba, he's actually currently in a couple of different movies. He's in Beast, and then he's also starring in a movie called 3,000 Years of Longing. And I saw a trailer for 3,000 Years of Longing. I thought about that, and I was just looking at the movie posters, and I happened to notice Beast. Well, that's got the same guy in it. And it was, like I say, it was starting in 3 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, there you go. That's what I'm going to go see. Once I got in there, I realized, okay, I have actually seen a trailer for this. Idris plays Dr. Nate Samuels, and he's with his 2 daughters, played by Leah Jeffries and Ivana Haley. And he goes out with a friend of his named Martin, played by, and I may butcher this name, Charlton Copley. Some of you may remember him as Murdoch in the A-Team movie. They're all protectors of lions, and I don't want to say too much about the movie itself to give it away, but they, as you may gather from the name, there is a beast stalking them. Very good movie. I say, don't let the ranked 4th out of 5 fool you here. It's not that this was not a good movie. It's just that the other three I liked a lot more. I will say that this sputters a bit at the end. It gets a little predictable, but it's got kind of a horror movie feel without being a horror movie. Some jump scares I liked. I did like the fact that there would sometimes be little stuff in the background that you had to notice. So keep your eyes open if you go see this one. A lot of tension, some action. I liked all of the characters. I thought Elbow was excellent in the main role, as there is with movies of this type. Again, like I say, it's kind of a horror movie without being a horror movie. Sometimes the characters make decisions, and you're going, "What are you doing?" but it was a really good movie, and it's I don't think it's getting a lot of publicity. I know when I went, it was in one of the smallest theaters in the little complex that I went to, but definitely worth a look. I say again, if you can't make it to the theater, it'd be fine for watching at home. But if you're looking to go out and hit the theaters, yeah, you might want to take this into consideration. It's worth the price of admission. It's kind of one of those movies that's going to probably fly under the radar for a lot of people. Now, number 3 is a movie I actually heard about a long time ago and actually was really looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint. It's Bullet Train. And this was actually my second favorite movie for a while. It stars Brad Pitt. It's kind of like a secret agent, and he is on what is supposed to be, what he assumes is going to be, just a quick, easy job, and it just turns out to not be so easy. Other people in it are Joey King, who oddly I recognize her from somewhere. I couldn't figure out where it was, and when I got home I looked her up, and even though I've never seen these movies, I saw Amanda the Jedi talking about one of these movies. She is from The Kissing Booth series of movies. She played Elle. This is very different than the Kissing Booth movies. She's excellent. And also, some of you may know Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny has a part in it. Also, Brian Tyree Henry, who had a small part in Joker a while back. He was in Godzilla vs. Kong, if you've seen that. And also Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was in Avengers Age of Ultron, playing Quicksilver. And there are several other characters sprinkled throughout. It's actually got a fairly big cast, a lot of action, a lot funnier than I was even expecting. I knew there was going to be some comedy sprinkled in, but there's actually comedy throughout it. Oh, also, well, maybe I shouldn't ruin that for you. There is someone that's in it. You'll recognize the voice. I recognize it's a woman. I recognize her voice. You don't see her until the end, but yeah, that was a nice little surprise. I didn't realize that this person was involved in this movie, but yeah, it's like I say, a lot of action, a lot of comedy, a lot of twists, a lot of turns. Excellent movie, and you always wonder how are they going to make this interesting, keeping it on a train or in this one setting basically. And they do have some like flashback sequences and stuff like that, but yeah, they have no problem keeping your attention and making it very interesting throughout the movie. Some of it, well, it's an action movie. Some of it not necessarily believable, but you kind of, some of these action movies, you kind of turn a blind eye to certain things. It's most definitely worth a look. I don't know if it's still in theaters or not. If it is, I would highly recommend you go give it a look. If it's not in theaters, well then, just watching it in your own home, it's going to be just as good. Very much worth the watch. Okay, as I said, that movie was number 2 until I saw this one, which I actually had to think about making it number 1, but no, it's a close number 2. It's Top Gun Maverick. Now, full disclosure, I have to admit I was not a huge fan of the original Top Gun. It was good. It was okay. It just didn't really do it for me. It was all right. But when even people that didn't like the original Top Gun were saying that they loved this movie, I thought, well, there's got to be something to it. And then hell, Jennifer Connelly's in it, so that's worth the price of admission. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to give this a shot. And through the first half of the movie, I was like, okay, yeah, it's good. Is it better than the first? Yeah, probably so. It's got a little more depth to it, I guess. But then about the last 45 minutes to an hour of that movie, holy mackerel. When I start physically reacting to what I'm seeing on the screen, I know it's got to be good. It's really exciting, visually incredible. Tom Cruise was actually in these fighter jets. This was not CGI and stuff like that. Really good movie. Which of course is Tom Cruise is the star. He revives his Maverick character. Of course, as I mentioned, Jennifer Connelly is in it. John Hamm plays one of the admirals. Ed Harris has a fairly small part in it, and then of course it's a new cast of the young pilots that are in it. Miles Teller plays Rooster, and again, I don't want to give anything away. Keep your eye on him. When you very first see him, it's a bit stunning because of who he looks like. I'll put it to you that way. So I will say, if you were not a fan of the original Top Gun, you may still want to give this a shot. And yes, it is worth seeing in the theater. It's a very exciting movie. It's well worth all the accolades. And it would be the best movie I've seen this year, if not for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, when I first saw a trailer for this movie, I actually thought it was a horror movie. Because it was just one of those quick, like 5 or 6 second little snippets. And I was just kind of like, I'm not going to be that interested in that. But then again, I would see where other people that I was quite surprised, they're talking about how they want to see it. This person's seen it and raving about it, and that's a little surprising. I wouldn't expect them to be that much into that kind of movie. And then I finally, when I was sat down I was trying to figure out what movie I wanted to watch before I left the house, I finally clicked on it and read a little bit about it. And I was like, well, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought it was. And as it turns out, it's kind of a sneaky science fiction movie. And I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to anything that has to do with like time travel or jumping dimensions or anything like that. And it's that kind of movie, but it's so well done. And I haven't figured out a way to say this without it coming out kind of douchey. But I could, this sounds horrible, but I could feel the movie. Maybe if you go see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It was mesmerizing. It was uncomfortable in all the best ways. It had action, it had humor. Like I say, it had that science fiction without being science fiction thing to it. Just so well done, so well made. I'll just let you know, Michelle Yeoh is the main character in this movie. She's been in a lot of stuff. She was in Fearless. She was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and is absolutely outstanding. James Hong, who you'll remember, he's one of those guys, you've seen him in a million different things. You might not be able to name one of them. But, he had a small part in R.I.P.D. A few years ago. I mean, you guys have been around forever. Here's a kicker for you. And again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, but Ki-Hu Kwan is also one of the main characters. He played Data in The Goonies. He's in this movie. But it's really an incredibly done movie. I'm not sure what the run time on it is. It's 2 hours and 19 minutes. It does not feel like it. Just an incredible movie. Now, the only thing I will say is I had a little trouble eating hot dogs after seeing this movie. If you've seen it, you'll understand. Oh, and there is one other person. Again, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. There is a person I had no clue they were even in it. Didn't even recognize her when I first saw her. There is a very well-known actress that has a supporting part in this movie as well. I don't know what else to say to get across that it was just an incredible movie. And it is kind of the dimension jumping science fiction type story. If you haven't seen it, see it. I don't think it's in theaters still, but absolutely nothing wrong with sitting at home and watching it too. So very, very, very highly recommend watching this movie. Okay, this is going to end up being way too freaking long, but those are my movie recommendations. As far as the channel, I did take a break. Oh, gosh, I'm thinking of all these things. We did hit 1,500 subscribers during the time off. So sound the trumpets for that. But I figured out I was kind of treating the channel as if I were a full-time YouTuber, and I'm not a full-time YouTuber. And so I'm going to get back into it, but I'm not going to have a regular upload day. I'm just going to, whenever I get the time to do something, I'll do it. And I think I'm going to concentrate more on the interviews, because people seem to like that. As I've made mention of before, I don't have a history of being a video maker. That kind of thing, I think, is closer to my strong point. So I'm going to try and do some of that. Now, that doesn't mean I won't do other videos. It's just not going to be on a schedule. It's just going to be whenever I get a chance to do it. This is already going to be much longer than I intended, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching until the end. Hope you enjoyed the movie reviews, so to speak. And I will see you next time.